All right, so here we have our monitor device. It encapsulates the touchscreen. The soil sensor is here on the bottom. The ambient light and UV sensor is on top on the outside, obviously so it can capture light. And on the inside here, underneath this cover, we have the wiring with the proto board and the temperature humidity sensor all tucked away in this casing. This cover has holes in it so that it can accurately measure the temperature and humidity, allow for airflow and ventilation. And the two ports on the side are left open. One is power and data, the top one, and the bottom one is just power. All right, so let's turn it on. All right, so when you plug it in, which is not easy to do one-handed, you have a boot screen like this. It says Plant Analytics Engineering 208, and you're greeted with the home screen. The top right-hand corner is the home button. Up here, it's designed vaguely to look reminiscent of the old iPhone home buttons to add a touch of familiarity. And we have 4 different menu options: soil status, ambient light, humidity, and temperature. So we'll check humidity and temperature first. You simply tap it, and it says the environment in this room is 68 degrees Fahrenheit with a humidity of 51%. That's fairly believable. It's not super warm in this room and definitely feels pretty humid. So you can tap the home button in the top right hand corner and brings you back to the home screen. So you can check ambient light. The light in this room is, there is no UV light, thankfully, and it's pretty bright in here, so it's measured the visible light at 618 lux. Now, if I go ahead and turn off the lights, the ambient light now measures 37 lux, which is believable because it's pretty dark in here. Another component of our design are these UV LEDs, which can turn on when the lighting in the room becomes too dim for the plant to survive. We can actually measure the output of these UV LEDs with our ambient light sensor. So right now it's currently 0. Takes a second to update, but you can see the UV value is definitely increasing. If we take it away from the UV light, it returns back to 0. The final component of our design is the water reservoir and pumping mechanism. This former yogurt container is our reservoir, and the pump is located on the side here. It pumps water from the reservoir into this large tube, which enters the smaller tube. And the smaller tube has a bunch of little holes punched in it and is meant to be inserted into the soil of a potted plant to water the plant. Now this pump can be controlled by the MOSFET here on the board, which receives a signal from the Arduino to turn on when the soil becomes too dry. So for demonstration purposes, let's turn on the pump. And it's doing a great job of making a mess. And for demonstration purposes, we can turn on the pump. And you can see how it pumps water, and the water exits through the holes punched in the little tube. So I've come outside Howe Hall to demonstrate the soil status monitor. First, we can check the ambient light, and it tells us that it is, in fact, nighttime. So, if we go back to the soil status, I just put this in the mulch here. It hasn't rained in a little while, so we'd expect the soil status to be too dry. Now, if we add some water, Just a little bit. We see that the soil status is now just right. I added just a little bit of water and that was enough to get it to just right. So now if I add the rest of the water, check the soil status, we can see that it's now too wet.